Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is Yankee and the Brit special edition. We got a special guest for you, Philip Harding. Thank you so much for being here, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's a blessing for y'all to put me on this show.
So, what have you been up to since the last time I talked to you?
Not too much, man. Real strictly, training. Training is more importantly, the only thing that I've been doing. Really, realistically, I ain't been doing too much, besides that.
So, when do you head out for Montana?
Um, as far as from what my offensive coordinator said, Coach Martinez, he said that pretty soon they'll be announcing the exact date, but I know it's in the beginning of February when when I leave to go to Montana and start my camp season.
That's got to be pretty. That's got to be pretty exciting and interesting all at the same time because Montana is just a world of its own.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I ain't never, I'll be quite honest. Like I heard different things about it. I'm not really too fond of, how it's going to be out there or like the culture of it. Really, I heard it was more country, and coming from the city of Pittsburgh, it's going to be a lot different type of environment for me personally. But
I don't know exactly how far it is away, but on your off days, just go to Bozeman, man. It's the college town. That's where it's all young and more hip. And so, however far you are from Bozeman, look that up because it's a nice college town for you.
okay, that's in Montana.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
I
by.
mean, no matter
That's,
where you...
go ahead.
Sorry, man.
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
No matter where you go, you'll be able to find. No matter where you go, you'll be able to find places like that, like those kind of places that are really cool, chilled out. The people that like that kind of stuff, I'll get everywhere. It's just the extremes of every place that you end up seeing. As a whole, humans are quite similar, and no matter where they're sick, you'll have a great time.
Yeah, I mean, I like visiting new places and checking out like more importantly, I'm big on the food thing, so I like trying out like new restaurants and stuff like that. They food might be good down there or not. I really don't know.
Well, one thing weird about Montana to me is it's real weird to be someplace where if you go out in the woods, you better bring a shotgun because there's grizzly bears. That's always a weird thing to me.
Right.
And but if you like beef and all that kind of stuff, man, and Montana's the place to be. They're supposed to have some of the best steaks and all that kind of stuff.
Oh wow, okay, yeah. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, that's good.
They raise all of it there.
What'd you say?
They raise it there. I think like 60% of our beef comes from Montana.
Oh, I didn't even know that. You see that, you know what I'm saying? I know they got some type of show that they make out there. It's called like the Yellowstone or something like that.
It is great. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I thought I was gonna freaking hate it. And me and my wife watched it. It is great.
Good.
And check it out before you go because I'm sure that's something they talk about out there, man. But you'll start watching it and you better not have nothing to do because you ain't gonna want to get back up.
I was one of them type of yeah. I try to do other things about it.
I'm also a travel blogger as well, and lots of the people that talk about the state say that their favorite state when they visited it is Montana or Washington or Oregon, like that kind of area in the Northwest, largely down to the scenery. Apparently, Montana is absolutely stunning,
and they're known for their hospitality.
You said what?
They're known for their hospitality too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like nice people.
Yeah, it's supposed to be nice, laid back people. Then and I know people like to bunch them into one group, but since right now when we're talking, it's the day after Election Day, even though this will air a couple days later.
Yeah.
They're one of those few states who split their ballot. So like voters will vote for a Democratic senator, but a Republican governor. They're not real set in what they do. They're one of the odd states that way.
Oh, wow.
You're gonna have a great time, basically, is what I think we've.
Yeah, I didn't know all that. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah,
yeah. I think
the more I learn about it before I go, the better. So I ain't complaining. Like that's crazy. I did not know all that. Wow.
So how did it come about that you signed with the Billings?
Honestly, it was one of the craziest things. I was sitting at my house, and I was actually about to go to a trial that same weekend. I was going to go to what are they called? The Tulsa Oilers, I believe. And right before, I was thinking about going there. And right before, I had got a text message, from Coach Martinez, and he said, basically asked me, how would you like, to come and participate with us, in this 2023 season. And I was like, oh, wow. And, he just explained how they had me on the board for a while. And, they were, he was looking forward to me, coming. He said I would be a great fit for the offense and stuff like that. So I'm just like, wow, this is a blessing. Like this just out of nowhere, and then, so yeah, that's basically, and then I was like, yep, this is it, and this is the opportunity I need to take, and so I ended up signing with him the next day, because I had me and my family, we looked over it, my agent, and we liked everything we saw and everything it came with, and yeah, man, it was just right then and there. I'm like, wow, this is great, this is crazy.
So it's going to be a culture shock going from Pittsburgh to Montana, I'm
Right,
sure.
right, yeah.
You live by a bunch of crazy yinzers, and nobody outside of Pittsburgh seems to know what a yinzer is. But so we'll see if the fan base is just as rowdy, because I know nothing about Montana sports because they don't seem to have a ton of them.
Yeah,
so that'll be something exciting to check out too.
I'm pretty sure, like the football, like the indoor team that I'm playing for up there. I'm pretty sure that's like their only football team there, to my understanding. So it's like a lot of fans and stuff like that from Montana will be coming to the games and checking out our games and stuff like that. From what I understand, and it's not that big of a town. It's not that big of a city, I guess. Like Billings, Montana is not that big. I mean, compared to Pittsburgh, it's just a little smaller than.
Oh, he froze up.
Oh, we've got a freeze up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I think here he is. He's back.
Here he is.
Yeah. Like Billings, Montana is like 100,000 people. So going from 100,000 people to going from Pittsburgh to 100,000 people is going to be a pretty wild change. But you get in small towns like that, and it happens with football clubs a lot in the UK, that because it's the only thing that's going on in like that city. They're die hard about it. Like they come out and they're absolutely die hard. There might only be like 10,000 people, like not even that, like 5,000 people watching the games and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden they're just like the wildest 5,000 people you've ever met in your entire life.
Yeah. Going crazy, doing whatever the fans do over at the games, going crazy. Yeah,
small areas definitely support their teams, because I live in Green Bay, which a lot of people get shocked when they find out the Packers are in a city of 109,000 people.
Oh, really?
But, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know that was a small town in Green Bay.
Yeah, so but they fans here always sell out our semi-pro hockey team, which is the Gamblers. They sell out the Blizzard games, which is our indoor team. Like they really support the sports around the area. So these small cities really show out for their local teams.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. I bet. It's a small city, and when you don't got that many sports involved, especially like that's your only professional team there, they're probably like, oh yeah, we gotta go, we gotta go to every game. Like we gotta go check out every game. This is what we support in our town. So I could definitely bet there's gonna be a decent amount of people there at the stadium.
So I was wondering what you think the biggest adjustment is from playing football in college or whatever to indoor.
Honestly, that's a great question. I know from what I've heard, coming in the indoor is a lot quicker. My trainer tells me that all the time. His name is Tavon Jenkins, and he tells me, and he says to me, he says all the time, he says it's going to be a lot quicker. Like, the ball is going to be out quicker. You're going to, get out your routes a lot quicker so you could turn around, and see, the ball coming. The ball comes a lot faster because it's indoor. And I guess it's not that much spacing, So it's just like everything is a lot fast paced. I think that would be the only difference. But besides that, just I guess the competition obviously is the next level. So it's everybody, everybody's going to be good. It's not just going to be me being, one of the top players. Is going to be another top player, So just transitioning to that is big, but I'm just, as of right now, preparing the best way I know how. So when I come in, I'll be able to, you know.
I bet for a receiver, it's going to be very weird to be running at the line of scrimmage too. Like it's so
Yeah.
counterintuitive that you can't run towards, and you're going to be able to just take off and get almost a full head of steam before the ball snapped.
Before
That
the ball
is so crazy.
Which is crazy. Yeah, which is crazy. Which I look at which I kind of look at as an advantage, to be quite honest. But it's similar to Canadian football. It's a lot similar to the CFL. But yeah, so like I just that transition is kind of crazy. It's a much quicker, faster paced game, and it's what I look forward to.
90% throwing too, which has to make you smile.
Yeah, for sure. It's more throwing than it is running, and I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Let's do that.
So it's a lot of speed exercises that you've been doing to like cope with that adjustment, get ready for the adjustment, like a lot more explosive pace training. Like what kind of things has your training got you going through to make the adjustment?
I focus. I've been focusing a lot more on speed training. Even when I, work out at the gym and stuff like that, I focus more on explosive workouts than I ever have been before. Like more, even if I'm like squatting or something like that, there's times where like I'll hold it down there for like 2 seconds, I'll explode right back up. You know what I'm saying? And it won't even be as many crazy reps, but it'll be focusing on movement. It's focusing on more explosion. And when I go to the field and run, like I said, my more of my focus is on my feet, of course, and speed, more than it ever has been. Of course, catching is a big thing too. So I focus a lot of my attention goes to that. But yeah, the speed thing, when I'm running routes, you already know I'm already practicing that motion, that motion that we have to do, that running start and stuff like that. Like I'm practicing as if I was already, preparing myself the best, like I said, the best I know how. Most of the things that I'm working on right now are just speed and explosion, getting off fast, quick, being quick and, off the ball and stuff like that.
Is this the league that Johnny Manziel's not playing in? Sorry. Is this the league that Johnny Manziel's not playing in?
That was the fan.
No, that's
the fan league.
Yeah, the fan league. League.
That's the same one Josh Gordon played in for a minute too.
Okay. No, not that one.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know people crush them too, but I'm like, bro, if they want to play football, I mean, Johnny Manziel screwed up a pro career. If he still wants to play football and have a good time, you go have a good time, my man, because there's no old man's league in football. Basketball, hockey, baseball, but once you hit a certain age, when you're done with football, you're done.
Right. It's over.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm pretty sure, to my understanding, that's the league he was playing in. He was a quarterback for one of those teams in the fan control football league. Yeah, so I feel like they're a lot similar to us in terms of like minor leagues and stuff like that. They're a pretty big minor league. Like they're viewed a lot. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people watch them. So that was definitely another league.
I follow a lot of athletes, big name to smaller names. And I've really noticed that those indoor leagues are where the CFL, the XFL, the USFL are really focusing on. Is that something that you thought about when you signed this deal?
What's crazy is it's wild, bro, because I try not to think that far ahead because I'm like, okay, I gotta take it, one day by day, and stuff like that. And me and my agent, we would talk, and she would say, a lot of these small opportunities lead up to really big opportunities, because there's been, even people from my agency who've got signed to, the XFL, the USFL, and bigger leagues from indoor. So it's like I was coming in, and I was like, that I ain't gonna lie, that's one of the things I'm thinking of, like, oh, okay, so this gonna lead me into something bigger. But then at the same time, I'm thinking like, all right, Phil, we're not going to think that far ahead. We just going to focus on what now, because I got to stay in present. Because if I start thinking too ahead, my head gets caught over there. I'm not thinking about what's going on right now. So it's like, don't get me wrong. It passed my head, and I'm like, I see a lot of these players going to the XFL and the USFL and even the NFL from these smaller minor leagues, like especially arena leagues. Like I know, like what was it? It was like 80% of the XFL this year, like 75% are arena players. which is kind of crazy entering into the draft pool. So I was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? I could be one of those players, you know, coming into the next season that are like, okay, you know, he came from arena and now he's going into the XFL. So yeah, it crosses my mind. Yeah, it definitely did. But it's something you know, it's something I keep in mind that the possibilities are there, which is a blessing. But I just kind of like, I don't focus on it too much. Like, I don't let it take over my mind. I'm just like, okay, I could be there next year. You know what I'm saying? If I keep working hard and grinding.
Yeah, I read an article just this last year that said there's more Arena League players in the NFL than there is CFL players.
Wow. I didn't even know that. See what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even. Hey, that's crazy.
And that's where Jay Gruden got his start, man. Jay Gruden got his start as a coach and a player at the same time.
Who?
Jay Gruden, John Gruden's brother, the old head coach of the Red Commanders. Sorry.
Yeah.
Commanders.
The Commanders. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because as the league transitions into this bigger passing league, so the NFL, and having holes for these gadget players and people like that, then somebody who's honed their skills in the arena leagues or the lower leagues, and you can see with people like Geno Smith as well, like age and learning your craft is actually a much more given thing now because guys are playing longer, so you don't have to start at 23. You can start later and still have a longer career. So it makes a lot of sense to kind of check out those XFL pills. It's something that me and Jay have spoken a lot about, actually. The whole in the UK, as a sports player, you're not hitting your prime until 28, 29, 30, when it kind of marries up with your knowledge of the game and your fitness levels as well. Whereas in the NFL, you're expected to be in your prime from hitting the league at 23, 24, 25. Like, that's when your prime is. So these small arena leagues should become more of an opportunity for guys, especially in a sport where the margins are so small from winning and losing, then finding a guy in the XFL who can return kicks, just like Turpin for the Dallas Cowboys. Guys like that.
He came from smaller league.
They become a bigger deal, right? So, so hone your skills there, I guess, is the message to any college players going out there. And you went, you came out of college and you went undrafted in the USFL, right?
Yeah. So I was one of the players who were in the USFL draft. I didn't get selected, but I knew that at the end of the day, God still had a plan, and I just had to keep going. But I was definitely one of those players that was in the USFL draft. Yeah, I was definitely one of those players. And like I said, there's a chance, and I don't think too much about it, but there's even a chance I can get back into that. I've seen a lot of players go from the NFL from there. So it's just crazy, man. But like I said, just focusing on the present right now. But I've seen a lot of these guys from smaller leagues go to these bigger leagues, and it's like it's motivational. Like dang, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's possible.
Well, I definitely have some more questions for you, but before we do, let's get a quick word from our boy Freezes at Overtime Hustling.
Yes, sir.
What's good? It's your homie, Freezes Christ. Y'all know the deal. Make sure y'all head on over to overtimehustling.com where you can catch all the latest merch, all the newest mags, all the media, everything, know what I mean? And you can also find me on Winging It with the homies Keith G, King Dale, and Payne Gusto. And you can catch me on Turf Tales with the homie SK. And if you got nothing to do on Sundays, even if you do got something to do, make sure you tap in the Overtime Reactions hosted by the homie Cuzzo. And I cannot forget the homie Jay over there at the Yankee and the Brit channel. So make sure y'all go over there and check them out. And hey, check me out, your boy Freezes, on that Real Talk with Jay. It was a hell of an interview, yo. Gotta do it again. I keep saying it because I mean it. We gotta do it again. I had a great motherfucking time. But anyway, you know who it is. Freezes H, OTH, Yankee and the Brit, Winging It, Turf Tales, Overtime Reactions, Chronicles Podcast. You know the drill, Cush's Corner. It's a motherfucking movement. So move with it. Or move out the motherfucking way. Simple and plain.
Overtime hustling, we hustling overtime.
All right, we're back. Like I always tell you, go over there and check out Overtime Hustling. They can show you better than I can tell you. And go get the newest edition of the magazine because yours truly got a full-page interview. Hey, that's reason enough to go buy that thing, you guys, right there. That's reason enough.
Yeah, like the people that watch this show don't get to hear from you enough already. They get to now go and read a full interview.
Yeah, but this is more about how we got to where we are, not sports or anything like that. You get a deep dive on how Maddie and I met, how the podcast channel got started, like that kind of thing. How Shinigami kind of changed the whole podcast station because we were just doing football, got an interview with Shinigami, and the whole thing changed. Yeah, it was a good interview. It was a good time. And I'm done talking about myself because that's weird.
Shinigami wished me happy birthday the other day. That was just a weird, like, it was just like a weird thing. Like a guy who'd been on the Pat McAfee show for knocking somebody out, wished me happy birthday. I was like, oh, this is fucking wild. This is my life.
He's such a nice guy, dude. So I wanted to ask you though, as somebody who follows you on social media, I see that like faith has a lot to do with where you are and what you're doing.
Yes.
Is that something you've always had? Is that something you've picked up over your years? Like, has faith always been a huge part of your life? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, no, it wasn't always a big part of my life. It didn't come about until, I gave my heart to Christ, to Jesus Christ in 2020. And then that's when I began, to grow in the faith and my believing, who Jesus is and, and stuff like that and fellowship and walking with him, through my sports journeys and just through life in general. And so, yeah, it became very stronger as I began to, walk more into it. It's, especially one of the biggest things with it has been through my sports. Yes, for sure. That has been a big part of it. Yeah. But yeah, my faith is, very important to me. That's number one more than anything else.
I think that's kind of how you and I hit it off at first too on social media because we like each other's posts a lot, like motivational posts, like, keep grinding, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's where you and I hit it off at first.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. Faith in Jesus for sure. Faith in Christ. That's very important to me. Yes.
Well, then you inspire me because you're motivated, and when I read other people being motivated, I'm inspired to be motivated.
My man.
I mean, we all have those times where we just want to be like, I'm done with this, or I'm done with that, or it's too much, and then you see other people grinding, and you're like,
yeah, keep going.
Quit being soft, man. Start grinding,
Yeah, right.
Like that's Maddie, are you at home right now?
Yeah, I'm at home right now.
Well, Maddie, are you?
Yeah. I just flew back from
I
Madrid
thought you were in like
morning.
Madrid or some shit.
I just got back from Madrid this morning, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, see, that's what I was telling you, Mister. I'm always traveling. I'm somewhere nice. Like, look at me.
That boy come from Spain. That's tough. That's tough.
This bougie bastard paid for it too.
Right.
I'm flying to Thailand in 2 days, just so you all know.
But you don't. That's a vacation, or do you get paid for that one too?
Get paid. Get paid. Hey. I didn't get paid to go to Madrid. That was a birthday present.
I warned you. Don't end up like Broken Down Palace. And I don't know if you remember me telling you that movie where they stashed some drugs and some travelers. Next thing you know, that dude's in some outdoor prison, or that chick's in some outdoor prison. Don't be that, bro.
Don't get too.
It would be fucking. It would be fucking me as well. Like every time I go for an airport, like I seem to be the one that gets stopped. Like I just don't know what it is. Like I have no idea what it is.
You look like
I'll just go through, get stopped. I'm like, I must do. I think it must be like they see that I was born in Wales on my passport, and they think I'm some sort of Welsh nationalist trying to like blow up the EU or something. I don't know.
Well, I get stopped. Anytime I get in an airport and I open my bag after we fly, it says, "You have randomly been selected to be screened." And I'm like, random as in I have a felony from when I'm 18. So you randomly chose me to screen me. Yeah.
Right.
That could be it. Yeah, that could be it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't really.
Yeah, that definitely could be why they do that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, right. I don't really like resonate with the faith in Christ and everything. Like I'm from the UK. It's not a big thing over here. Okay. We're not particularly religious, but the idea of faith always interests me, especially in sports, because you see a lot of people, especially in the NFL and the NBA, are particularly religious, and I think it has that emphasis on, like, obviously Christians, it's the Lord looking down on you in favor because you're giving it to Christ and stuff like that, and you're working hard through Him so He gives you your rewards. But having that system to kind of base your beliefs on, and you're always working towards something, is something that I think people who don't necessarily have the faith in Christianity or Islam or Judaism or anything like that, they can still look at that idea and say, have faith. Like, faith's a good thing. You can still have faith. It just doesn't have to be in that. If it's something that drives you, is it kind of something that helped you after not getting drafted in the USFL? Like, that day, I can't imagine was particularly great. Did it give you that drive afterwards, that faith in somebody's looking out for me?
Yeah. So, I like I said, you go through life, right? And you got, sometimes, like I'm gonna believe like the Lord has to teach you lessons in life, and you go through life and things don't, always particularly go towards, whatever you thought was going to happen was going to happen. And in other words, I looked at it and it's like, okay, I didn't get picked for the USFL, but am I going to allow this to bring me down? Like, is this like at the end of the day, right? And within myself, I know that the most important thing to me is Jesus Christ. So the thing is, I looked at it and it was like, okay, like I didn't get picked for the USFL, right? And of course, at first I'm like, okay, I'm a little disappointed. Like, dang, I was hoping to be one of them players. But then, I said to myself, and just prayed about it and stuff like that. And I'm like, I know it don't end here. Like, this ain't all. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I'm praying towards God's will, whatever His will is for my life. And so whatever His purpose is for my life. So, I start to, I still look upon Him even after things didn't go right. I still look, okay, well, it's not here, right? It don't stay here. That's not the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the end of what, of His, whatever His will is for me, right? And obviously, the football thing is big for me. That's just where, I believe that, He's carried me along, with the football thing. The football thing has kept me, my steps into going into the right direction. It's kept me out of trouble and a lot of other things that happen in life. So it's just like, yeah, I didn't give up in the faith just because I didn't get that, that pick from the USFL draft, because I told myself, I said, that's not the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, dang, it's kind of like, it kind of sucks. Like, okay, yeah, I hoping to be one of them players that got picked for sure. But I'm like, okay, so, this where you got two options. You got an option to be like, okay, yeah, this is over with, or I'll probably never have a chance, and give up. Or you got an option to keep going, right? And keep going and keep pursuing that goal and that dream, right? At the same time, you keeping the faith in Christ, because, right, the Lord says there's nothing impossible, without God. So basically, I kept the faith, and I just started working hard, kept going and kept it going. Don't get me wrong. There's times where I'm like, I want to give up. Like, I don't want to keep going. But then I'm like, I got to keep going. You know what I'm saying? I got to keep my body in shape, because I never know when I'm going to get that call. And nevertheless, one day out of nowhere, I just get a call and I'm like, wow, it finally is here. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I've been waiting for, what I've been working towards, is finally came. So yeah, man, I didn't just give up on, on the Lord, or give up on, my dream, whatever my dream was, just because of one thing happening. It actually, believe it or not, it actually motivated me to go hard, because it's like, you look at it as, it's being overlooked. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like, I come from a small school, you know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, my work ethic and everything, like, I'll work hard, coming from a small school, it makes you want to work harder, because you like, all right, I got to work harder than these athletes who came from big schools. You know what I'm saying? Not in comparison, but they came from bigger schools. So automatically they got the connections to get there. You know what I'm saying? Right away. So with me, it was more of like, all right, well, you know what I'm saying? All right, it's cool. It didn't happen. So now you just got to get back, you got to stay on your ground. You can't just give up just because that one thing didn't go right. And so, yeah.
And you really get some experiences. Like, you're going to Montana, you get to do some different things. And actually, now that I think about it, Philip Harding is in Overtime Hustling magazine also because one of the questions 21K asked me was about our interview on Real Talk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
So
dope,
I just
yeah.
thought about that. You're actually in the magazine too, and I did that
Okay,
interview over a month ago before we even started talking about having you back on. So
Oh,
that's a small world right there.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did, because we definitely did have an interview back like a couple months ago. I think it was like a
It
couple.
was probably like 8-9 months ago, and
it was around the time with the USFL draft. I do remember that.
right.
Mhm.
And then
do remember
you were
that.
on my show, Real Talk,
Right.
and 21K asked me about how I choose going between athletes and musicians and how I got the interview with you. So your name is actually in the magazine and you're talked about.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. No, that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't. That's what's up.
I was
man.
just thinking about that when I said Montana. It just hit me like 21K asked you about him. So I just thought I'd throw that out there because that's a small world like
Yeah.
circle thing.
That's crazy. Yeah. And he's from UK, right? He's from UK as well.
That's Maddie. 21K is the owner of Overtime Hustling magazine.
Oh, that was you?
No,
No,
21K interviewed me for Overtime Hustling magazine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's the owner of
Okay.
Overtime Hustling, so he has
Okay.
a magazine, and yeah.
Oh, that's
So
crazy. That's what's
but
up.
he
man.
went
No,
through some of my
congratulations.
old interviews and then asked me about you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That's crazy. Yeah, no, that's wild, man.
That's wild. Talking about experiences that you could get, have you ever thought about playing over here in Europe? Ever thought about giving the European football leagues a try?
Now, you want to know what's crazy about that? And it's crazy. They actually asked me to play for them. There was a team. It wasn't too long ago. They said, come February, would you be interested in playing for us? And obviously, whenever I get an offer or something like that, or somebody offer me something, I talk it over with my agent and stuff like that. And we didn't really go into detail with that, which I don't think there's nothing wrong with playing overseas. I think that's a great experience and a great idea and stuff like that. And I'm actually not even leaving that out because if that's ever to happen, one day maybe. But I just thought this arena opportunity that I was getting was going to be the best choice for me in the take. But I did have that. That was another one. I don't know. That coach never said anything else. Whatever, because I had replied back then, but he's never.
Yeah.
Well, it's not actually. It hasn't even been that long ago. Probably like maybe 2 months ago or something like that. But whatever they got to do, get things together and stuff like that. But yeah, I never really got into it, with that coach or whatever about playing there. But yeah, there was a coach up there and he was saying that, we give you this and we fly you out and stuff like that. Yeah. So I didn't, I wouldn't mind playing it up in Europe. Yeah. I don't know.
Do you remember what team it was?
I can't remember what team. I would have to go back and look and see what team.
That's all right.
Aren't they only allowed so many American players too? So that's pretty big.
Yeah. They are. Wait, it's like I don't even know. I actually have a cousin that played up in Germany. He played quarterback for overseas team. His name was Michael Eubank. I forget what team
That's the place to play though, Germany. That's where all the best European football teams are.
Yeah.
It's where they actually give a shit about football. Like in the UK, we love watching American football. We just don't play.
Yeah.
Like it's not a game that we play.
Yeah, there was
Whereas in Germany they play.
There was this team literally in the UK that asked me about it, but they said I would have to get an education there too. It was like some purple team. They were like all purple, but they were in the UK. I cannot remember what team this was, but yeah, no, they was in the UK.
There's nobody that.
Yeah,
there's nobody that good in the UK.
He was like, we're in the UK, and how would you like, coming to play for us and then being in education or something like that? And I was just, I've been in education for already. Yeah, I'm saying for 4 years. If I was going to go do something, my education, I would go do whatever I majored in. But yeah, that was definitely. I definitely been asked that question to play overseas before. Yes.
So what's next, man? You just gonna keep grinding because you put that work in. The Bears need somebody who can catch, bro. So maybe they could use somebody with some hands. Because
for sure,
dude, Maddie, we won't even get into the quarterback conversation, but keep it
Yeah, I
real.
was about to say.
How many balls have been dropped in Chicago?
Right. Well, I was just about to say, I'm surprised that you say that because by the way that you talk on the podcast regularly, it doesn't matter if they have somebody to
Just
catch.
wait till
feels
Thursday,
confident to throw the
Maddie.
ball
When I got a little game for you, my friend. I got a little game for you. I got a little game for Thursday's show.
Yeah, I mean the Bucks can also deal with somebody who can catch the ball in the end zone and not give everybody a fucking heart attack against the Rams as well. Looking at you, Scotty Miller, probably never getting the ball thrown to him again. Yeah.
We won't keep you all day.
Bears could definitely use the offense. I'll give you that.
Oh, sorry about that.
I said the Bears could definitely use the offense for sure.
So we won't keep you all day. We already kept you longer than we keep the guests because we had such a good time talking to you. But why don't you shout out your social media so people can follow you, so they can see where your career goes from here, that kind of thing?
Okay, yeah. So my Instagram is p.harding_. My Twitter is I don't remember all about it. I believe it's the same. On Twitter, you could just look up Philip Harding, but on Twitter, I believe it's p.harding_. And then my Facebook, you could just look up Philip Harding. And it'll come, you'll see a profile, like a football picture, college football picture, number 5. And, that's it. That's pretty much, all my social media sites.
I know for me, it's a lot of fun to follow guys through their journey because it's really cool to see how it goes.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. Yeah, man. I mean, the sky's the limit from here. I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, man, I'm definitely, talking with everything. Yeah, it definitely leads up to bigger opportunities. So, like I said, I can't wait. I can't wait for the season. Like, honestly, and it's crazy because it's not like, just because it feels a little far away. It's like I think about it, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, let me just live, where I'm at right now. But I definitely cannot. Yeah, I'm definitely excited about it. Like, I definitely can't wait for it. For sure.
Well, if you're down, I'd love to have you back on after you've been in Billings for a little bit, see how that's going and how you're enjoying the new league.
I appreciate that, man. For real, man. It was. I'm thankful that y'all wanted to bring me onto the show, man. Like that's crazy. And like I said, we went back a couple months ago, and I'm like, yeah, man. Now I could talk to them and about how the season and everything is coming up, man. And it's just good to hear from you guys for sure.
Yeah, and I'd love to talk to you again, just see how this journey's going and let everybody who follows us follow you.
Right. I appreciate that, man. For real, man. And I, pray that your platform keeps blowing up and keeps getting bigger. Hopefully I could be a big part of that. You know what I'm saying? And carry along with this, And so, yeah, man, like I can't wait to see what's in store for you guys, not just for me, but what's in store for you guys too, as the future continues.
Well, thank you so much. Anything before we get out of here, Maddie?
Everybody get yourself up to Billings, Montana. It's a town of 100,000 people. It's got an elevation of, let me see here, 3,000 feet, which is pretty tall. And it looks like a beautiful place to live. And on top of that, it has a great arena football team. So if anybody from Billings Tourism Board is listening and wants to sponsor us, then we're here for that.
And I'm giving Billings a new name. You know how Denver's called the Mile High City?
Yeah.
This is the Half a Mile High City.
Half Mile High City.
Yeah.
Half Mile High Stadium. That's the one. So
all right, guys. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.